5. Lake Michigan Shipwrecks. If you're looking for a cool adventure, you might want to check out the Rising Sun Shipwreck in Lake Michigan. The Rising Sun was a 133-foot steamer that ran aground during a brutal snowstorm on October 29, 1917. It was carrying members of the House of David, a religious sect, as well as produce and lumber. The crew and passengers managed to swim ashore with help from the men employed by Sleeping Bear Point Life Saving Service Station. Lake Michigan's ice cover isn't very high in 2023 due to the warmer temperatures and lower lake levels. According to the NOAA's Great Lakes Environmental Research Laboratory, the ice cover hit 37% in mid-June, which is pretty high but still below the long-term average of 40%. The ice cover is expected to decline as the weather warms up in the spring. The Rising Sun Shipwreck is located near the shore in shallow water, so it may be partially frozen depending on the local conditions. However, the ice may be weak and unpredictable, so it's not advisable to walk on it or try to access the shipwreck without proper safety precautions. The shipwreck can be viewed from a boat, a kayak, a drone, or a satellite image. And if you're interested in learning more about the history of the Rising Sun Shipwreck, you can check out some of the online resources or visit the Sleeping Bear Dunes National Lakeshore, where the shipwreck is part of the Maritime Heritage Trail. You might also want to check out some of the other ships named Rising Sun that have been wrecked in different locations and times. For example, there was a Scottish privateer ship called Rising Sun that was captured by the British and wrecked off the Virginia coast near Jamestown in 1697. There was also a French ship called Rising Sun that was captured by the British in 1704 and wrecked off the coast of Newfoundland. The Rising Sun Shipwreck in Lake Michigan is a fascinating piece of history that offers a glimpse into the past and a challenge for the present. Whether you're an avid explorer or a curious observer, you might find something to enjoy and appreciate about the sunken treasure. 4. A frozen forest. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to walk through a forest that's been frozen in time for over 1,000 years? Well, you don't have to wonder anymore, because you can visit one in Alaska. That's right, there's a forest that was buried by a glacier on the icy continent. And it was just recently uncovered when the ice started to melt. It's like a time capsule of nature, and it's truly amazing. The forest is located near the Mendenhall Glacier, which is a popular tourist attraction. The glacier has been receding for decades, and as it does, it reveals the ancient trees and stumps that were once part of a lush forest. Some of the trees are still standing upright, as if they were waiting for someone to come and hug them. Others are lying on the ground but still have their bark and roots intact. They're so well preserved that you can even see the rings that tell their age. The trees are mostly spruce and hemlock, and they've been dated to between 1,200 and 2,350 years old. That means they were alive when the Roman Empire was still around and when the Vikings were exploring the world. They witnessed many historical events, but they also had their own stories to tell. Maybe they saw animals and birds that are now extinct, or perhaps they had secret conversations with each other when no one was listening. The frozen forest is a rare and beautiful sight, but it also reminds us of the effects of climate change. The glacier that preserved the forest is also disappearing, along with many other wonders of nature. So if you want to see this frozen forest for yourself, you better hurry up before it's too late. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to experience the past in the present. 3. A notosaur. Imagine you're a miner in Canada digging for oil sands. You're used to seeing rocks and dirt, but one day you hit something hard and strange. So you take a closer look and realize that it's not a rock, but a dinosaur. And not just any dinosaur, but a notosaur, a type of armored dino that lived about 110 million years ago. A notosaur was a plant-eating dinosaur that had thick skin covered with bony plates and spikes. It was like a walking tank, and it used its armor to defend itself from predators. It was about 18 feet long and weighed nearly 3,000 pounds. And for comparison, that's bigger than a car. The notosaur fossil that was found in Canada in 2011 is so well preserved that it looks like a statue. It has skin, scales, and even some of its original color. It's the best preserved dinosaur specimen ever found, and scientists are absolutely amazed by it. They named it Borealopelta Mark Michelli, after the miner who found it and the northern region where it was discovered. The fossil tells us a lot about how the nodosaur lived and died. It likely drowned in a river and was swept out to sea, where it sank to the bottom and was buried by mud. The mud then protected it from decay and scavengers, and over time, turned it into a natural mummy. Over millions of years, the mud turned into rock, and the nodosaur became a fossil. The fossil is now on display at the Royal Tyrrell Museum of Paleontology in Alberta, Canada. It's a rare and beautiful sight, and a reminder of the amazing creatures that once roamed the Earth. If you discovered a new species of dinosaur hidden in a glacier, what would you name it? Let us know down below, and don't forget to subscribe. 2. Glacier Girl. The Lost Squadron was a group of 6 P-38 Lightnings and 2 B-17 bombers that were flying from the US to England in 1942. They encountered bad weather over Greenland and had to make an emergency landing on the ice cap. All the crew members survived and were rescued after 10 days, but they were forced to leave their planes behind. The planes were soon covered by snow and ice and remained hidden for decades. In 1988, a team of adventurers and aviation enthusiasts decided to search for them using metal detectors and radar. They located the planes under 260 feet of ice and began a daring operation to recover them. They used a special device called a gopher, a simple blower that heated water through a hose to melt the ice around the plane. They managed to free one of the P-38s, which they named Glacier Girl, and lift it to the surface in pieces. They then transported it to Kentucky, where they spent 10 years restoring it to its original condition. In 2002, Glacier Girl took off for the first time since 1942, becoming the only airworthy P-38 from World War II. It was a remarkable feat of engineering and perseverance, and a tribute to the brave pilots who flew it. But what made the P-38 so special? It was an advanced, high-performance twin-engine fighter that could fly faster and higher than most of its enemies. It had a distinctive twin-boom design with a central nacelle containing the cockpit and armament. It was armed with a 20mm cannon and 4 machine guns, making it a formidable weapon in the air. It was also used for various roles, like bomber escort, night fighter, reconnaissance, and bomber pathfinder. The P-38 was the only American fighter in production throughout the war, and it was flown by some of the best pilots in the world. The P-38 Lightning was truly a force of nature that struck fear into the hearts of its foes. And thanks to Glacier Girl, we can still see it in action today. 1. Lake Vostok. Lake Vostok is a hidden gem that lies under the ice of Antarctica. It's one of the largest and deepest lakes on Earth, and it's been isolated from the rest of the world for millions of years. It was first suggested to exist by a Russian geographer in the 1960s, and it was confirmed in 1993 by satellite data. It was named after Vostok Station, a Russian research base on the East Antarctic ice sheet. Lake Vostok is located at the southern pole of the Arctic, which means it's extremely cold and dark. The surface of the lake is about 13,100 feet below the ice, which means it's also about 1,600 feet below sea level. The lake is 160 miles long and 30 miles wide at its widest point, and covers an area of 4,830 square miles. It has an average depth of 1,417 feet and a volume of 1,300 cubic miles. The lake's water temperature is around 27 degrees Fahrenheit, but it remains liquid and doesn't freeze due to the weight and pressure of the ice on top of it. Lake Vostok is thought to be one of the most ancient and pristine lakes on Earth. It's been sealed under the ice for 15 to 25 million years, creating a unique environment that could harbor unknown life forms and clues about the past climate. Scientists have been curious about what lies beneath the ice for a long time, but reaching the lake wasn't easy. It took decades of drilling through the ice to finally reach the lake in 2012. Scientists obtained samples of the water and ice from the lake and found traces of bacteria and other microorganisms. They also detected traces of oxygen, nitrogen, methane, and other gases in the water. These findings suggest that Lake Vostok isn't a sterile place, but a living ecosystem that's adapted to extreme conditions. These findings also raise questions about how life originated and evolved on Earth and other planets. Lake Vostok is a scientific wonder that challenges our understanding of life and its limits. It's also a natural treasure that needs to be protected from contamination and exploitation. Have you ever found something in the ice that shouldn't have been there? Let us know in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.